So how to define continuity in terms of open set? So for that, basically continuity in terms of open set. So to understand this, first we need to understand the set theoretic inverse. There are some basic definition which usually create confusion. So first of all, I want to discuss all those important points which we will need in further discussion. So continuous function, how to define continuous function? Definition of continuous function in topological spaces, I mean in terms of open set. And later on we will you will see that what we have studied, that epsilon delta definition in real analysis, I mean in analysis in calculus, that will also lead to this definition. So but before understanding this continuous function, I mean in order to define continuity in terms of open set, we need some basic concept. So for that, first of all is the set theoretic inverse. We need to understand this concept of set theoretic inverse. This one is a very important point because most of the students, in fact, when I was teaching that product topology, in that during discussion of that projection map, I discussed the idea of set theoretic inverse. So as per definition, suppose f from D to C. See, you can, whatever I am teaching, this is from the book of Essential Topology by Martin D. Crossley. So for detail, you can see this book. So if f from D to C is a function, and S is a subset of C, and S is a subset of C, then the pre-image of S of set S under F denoted by this, denoted by F inverse S, we are using this notation, is the subset of D defined by set theoretic inverse of set S is collection of all those elements from domain whose image lies inside set S. So this one is the definition. You can see, in other words, the pre-image of set S, this is used basically for pre-image. We are using the same notation F inverse, but this is not inverse of a function. This is this notation basically we are using for pre-image of a set S. So pre-image of any subset S of C, pre-image of any subset S of C is basically collection of all those X from domains whose image lies inside the set S, whose image is inside set S. So this is simply the definition. In other words, we can say that the pre-image of S consists of all points which get mapped to S by the function F. So to make it clear, let me discuss one example here. And you will see that, okay, let F from R to R. And the function is given as fx equal to 4x square minus 4x. So you can see that if you take 4x common, it is basically x minus 1. So at x equal to 0 and x equal to 1, it is 0. And mouth of parabola, this coefficient of x square is positive, so it open upwards. So I can draw it in this way. I mean, it will intercept at 0 and 1, because at 0 and 1, it is going to be 0. So it is like this, 0 and then 1. It is like this, 0 and, so this one is 0, this one is 1. And say, let there be 2, 3, and so on. And then here minus 1, minus 2. So at 0, you can check that at 0, the function is taking value 0. At 0, it is taking 0. And at 2, if you put 2 here, 2 square, 4, 4, 4, just Yes, 16 minus how much this 8. Okay, it comes out to be 8. So at 2 it is taking value 8. At 2 and minus 2 it is taking value 8. So actually this figure is not so well. You can see that at 2 this is basically not so symmetric, so it seems like this. Let me draw this. So it is minus 2, this one is minus 1. So okay, at 2 good, it is shifted. So at 2 it is we are getting 8, and at minus 1, okay, it's okay. At minus 1, because you put on putting x equal to minus 1 you will get 8. So let me write it here 8, and then at 3 we are getting the value as 24. You can check, we are getting the value is 24, and the same value is achieved at this value 24 is achieved at minus 2. Minus 2. So now my claim is that what is set theoretic inverse of the set R. See, your function is defined from R to R. So what will be set theoretic inverse of this R? Set theoretic inverse of whole R. So you can see that this function is not on 2. Why? Because I mean below this point, whatever y you will choose, whatever y1 choose, it has no pre-image. So clearly this function is not on 2. This function is not on 2. Is this function 1 1? Yes. Two elements have same images, so even this function is not 1 1. Minus 1 has again same image 8, and 2 again has same image 8. So clearly this function is neither 1 1 nor on 2, nor 1 1. Why I have chosen this example, just to make it clear that for set theoretic inverse we don't require function to be invertible. For set theoretic inverse I don't require function to be invertible. So you can see that this function is not invertible, even we can find its pre-image. So remember, to find pre-image, function need not be invertible. So this confusion is always misleading. I mean, because we are using the same notation, but this is not inverse of a function. This is the set theoretic inverse. Set theoretic inverse, in fact, you can say simply the pre-image of a set. So for pre-image of this set, you can see that as per definition, uh, if you recall the definition, then suppose here we have any set S, then F inverse of S is collection of all those X from domain whose image is inside this one. So using this definition, you can say that, see, F inverse of, or I mean from domain, I need all such elements whose image is inside R. So obviously, if it is a function, then its every image will go in codomain. I mean, since this is a function, so it's every image, whatever X you choose here, it's obviously its element will be in R. So whole R is going to be its domain. So I can write that F inverse of R is R. F inverse of R is R, or simply see, you can project this one on x-axis. You can project, because this R or subset of R will be on y-axis, and this R or its subset will be on x-axis. So simply you can project this on x-axis. You can project this on x-axis, and you can see that we are getting the whole R. So F inverse of R is R. Now, what is F inverse of phi? F inverse of phi? Yes.
Phi.
Phi. Why phi? Why F inverse of phi is phi?
क्योंकि कोई phi का image मिलेगा, वो phi मिलेगा, हर element का image तो मिल जा रहा है.
Yes, as per definition, look here. As per definition, F inverse of phi is collection of all those elements from domain such that its image is inside the set phi. So, but phi cannot contain any real number. I mean, in our case here, see, this empty set cannot contain any image of any real number. So obviously there is no member in the set. So F inverse of phi is phi. Is this clear to everyone? Now can you tell me what is F inverse of C minus 1 to infinity? This set, inverse set, theoretic inverse of this set. Minus 1 to infinity. Minus 1 means, say this one. Minus 1 here we will get, and minus 1 to infinity. So your whole graph, this one, if you project it on a y-axis, this is basically taking values from minus 1 to infinity. So if you project this whole graph, I mean on x-axis, you are getting the same, or in short you can say that all those elements of domain are mapping from minus 1 to infinity. All those elements of domain, their image lies from image, I mean image means minimum to maximum, minimum to maximum. However, its codomain is R, but its range is from minus 1 to R, minus 1 to infinity, minus 1 to infinity. So you can see that whatever x you will choose here, its image will be from minus 1 to infinity. So again, F inverse of minus infinity is whole R. Is this clear to everyone? Yes, what is F inverse of 0 to infinity? What is F inverse of this set? Set theoretic inverse or pre-image of this set? Yes. 0 to infinity, 0 to infinity. So from where it is taking value 0, 0 to infinity. So you can see that this portion is from 0 to infinity, and this portion is from 0 to infinity, and this portion is below, this is taking negative values. So if you project this portion on x-axis, you will get minus infinity to 0, and then if you project this, you will get 1 to infinity. So I can say that F inverse from 0 to infinity, 0 union 1 to infinity, because 0 is included. So the point at which you are getting 0, that has to be included. So at 0 we are getting 0, and at 1 we are getting 0. If you put x equal to 0 here, fx will be 0, and if you put x equal to 1, you will get f of 1 as 0. Now let us look at some more set. See, what is F inverse of say F inverse of this minus infinity, I mean set theoretic inverse of or pre-image of this F inverse of minus infinity minus 1. देखो बहुत बेसिक चीज बता रहा हूँ, और आप बहुत से लोग इस नोटेशन को ये समझते हैं कि फंक्शन का इनवर्स है ये, और अक्सर गलती करते हैं, जबकि हम थ्रू आउट कंटिन्यूटी का डिस्कशन अंडर सेट थ्योरेटिक इनवर्स करेंगे, दैट इज अंडर प्री इमेज, नॉट फॉर दैट वी डोंट रिक्वायर फंक्शन टू बी 1 1 on 2. इस वजह से मैं इस एग्जांपल को एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूँ. अगर आप ये डिफरेंस नहीं समझोगे तो आपको आगे बहुत दिक्कत होने वाली है. और फिर इसके स्टैंडर्ड प्रॉपर्टीज, कोई बताएगा मुझे कितना आएगा एफ इनवर्स ऑफ माइनस इनफिनिटी टू माइनस 1
का? तो होगा
infinity.
only is achieved minus 1. If you look, only 1 point minus 1 is achieved, and that one is at half. Actually this is symmetric, half of 0 and 1 is half. You can see that only at half it is value minus 1. Collection of all those elements from domain is your x-axis. Domain is your x-axis. So which element of x-axis is giving values inside this range, inside this one? So you can see that clearly at half we are getting this one minus. F inverse of minus infinity to minus is singleton half. Right? Singleton half. Now what is F inverse of singleton 0?
line पर
0 कहाँ हो रहा है? देखो 0 पे 0 हो रहा है और 1 पे 0 हो रहा है. डोमेन के वो कौन से एलिमेंट है जिनका इमेज सिंगलेटन 0 के अंदर जा रहा है? 0 and 1. It is 0 and 1.
क्या लिखा हुआ है?
Please mute your mic. What is F inverse of minus infinity to minus 1? माइनस 1 पे देखो मैंने ओपन कर दिया, माइनस 1 टू ओपन, यहाँ देखो नीचे
हो जाएगा.
Yes, it's clearly empty.
It's the domain.
No element in the domain maps in this area. There is no
जी।
element from domain which maps in this area.
ए का जो भी वैल्यू अंदर डोमेन हो गया
Why
आगे करो।
I have chosen this example?
मैं तो बुक भी सामने रख देगा।
Mohammad Imran, please mute your mic.
हाँ, फिर ये क्या पढ़ी? सेट बी इज द
So the important observation from here, what we have achieved is that, now let me write here. So you can see that this example, that the pre-image of a set can be a single point, pre-image of a set can be a single point or a set of points, or it may be even empty, is it? Pre-image or set theoretic inverse of a set may be a singleton, may be empty, or may be collection of points. So here the important thing is that this notation F inverse S, F inverse of S can be confusing. Because it looks like we are assuming that F has an inverse function F inverse. This is not the case. We can define pre-image of any function invertible or not. One can define pre-image for any function invertible or not. तो प्री इमेज के लिए फंक्शन का इन्वर्टिबल होना जरूरी नहीं है. If it is invertible, then okay. Even you can see that for invertible function need to be 1 1 and on 2 bijective map. But here this I have example taken this one which is neither 1 1 nor on 2, but still one can find its set theoretic inverse. ठीक है, क्लियर हो गया. चलो अब इसका कुछ बेसिक रिजल्ट करते हैं. ठीक है ना, ये आपको एक आइडिया दे समझने के लिए कैसे आप करोगे इसे. नाउ okay, there is a important result, you can call it lemma. See, if, because we will use it at several places, if F is a map from H to T and U, and suppose U comma V are subsets of T, then I need to prove that F inverse of U intersection V is equal to F inverse of U intersection F inverse of V. Second, F inverse of U union V is equal to F inverse of U union F inverse of V. And third, F inverse of phi, set theoretic inverse of the set phi is always phi. And the fourth one, F inverse of T, I mean set theoretic inverse of the codomain is whole domain. Set S. This one is a very important observation which we will use when we will extend continuity in terms of, I mean, basis element. So I will come to that, but before, you can see that this set theoretic inverse behave nicely. I mean, everywhere you are getting equality. Now, can you give me the proof of first one? Yes, how to prove first one, that equality will hold? So to show that A is equal to B, you need to show that A is contained into B and B is contained into A. This one is the basic definition. I mean, in your language, you can put this one, but in Munkres, we will use this notation. So to show that A is contained to B, let us start from X belonging to A, show that for every X belonging to A implies X belongs to B also. So that is the basic approach. So to prove first one, just I am giving you idea of one of them. So you can see that, see, to prove this one, let X belongs to F inverse of U intersection V. And before this, write, see, if F is a map from, just say S is to T. Okay, here then okay, we have used this notation is to T. So F inverse S, F inverse of any, okay, I have used S here. So let me take any U here, U. So set theoretic inverse of the U, where U is any subset of T, is basically collection of all those X from the domain such that image lies inside the set U. This one is your definition. Using this definition, you have to prove. So if this X is in F inverse U, then image of X under F must be in U as per definition. So if X is in F inverse U intersection V, this implies that Fx, its image of this X must be in U intersection V as per definition. Just use this definition. Fx must be, because this is the definition used for set theoretic inverse of the set U or pre-image of set U. And if Fx is in U intersection V, this implies Fx belongs to U as well as V. So just you have to use the set theoretic inverse. I am recalling here because we cannot ignore these basic results. And see, whenever Fx belongs to U, I say that X must belongs to F inverse U. So from Fx belonging to U, I can write that X belongs to F inverse, set theoretic inverse of U, and X belongs to F inverse of V. This I'm calling F inverse means just a notation. Not, this is not an inverse of function. Or in general, you can use that set theoretic inverse of V or pre-image of set V. So if X is in both of them, so this implies that X belongs to their intersection. So I can write that X belongs to F inverse U intersection F inverse V. And that is what we have started from here, and we have shown that X lies in this one. So one side containment is already there. Similarly, you can start from here and just go there. Okay, so do it by yourself. I have given you idea that how to use it. Similarly, you can take element here and just show that it lies in. The process is just reverse. You can start from this one. You can use the same argument. Now my question is, and similarly you can use this one. Now why F inverse of phi is phi? How to prove the third one? See, in set theoretic inverse image, whatever your domain, whatever your codomain is, set theoretic inverse of phi is always phi, and set theoretic inverse of this codomain is always the whole domain. This one is a very important, which differentiates itself from what we have studied in invertible function, in case of invertible function. ठीक है, तो सेट थ्योरेटिक इनवर्स में इसका डोमेन हमेशा T का ऑलवेज इनवर्स इमेज सेट थ्योरेटिक इनवर्स S होगा, एंड दिस फाई इज फाई. ये याद रखना, हम हमेशा कई जगह भी इसे यूज करेंगे. Now my question is how to prove the third one. Why F inverse of phi is phi? Why pre-image F inverse phi is always empty? My claim is that the pre-image F inverse phi is always empty. Why? Because as per definition, if it is non-empty, F inverse of phi is non-empty, then there must exist some element from the domain whose image is inside phi in place of U, because we are here interested in taking out pre-image of the set phi. So if F inverse of, as per F inverse of phi, just replace U by phi here. First write it and then we will see what. So Fx must belongs to phi. Now is it possible that phi contains some element Fx? Because phi is an empty set, so it cannot contain any of the element. So this is the reason why F inverse of phi is phi. So you can say that if Fs belongs to phi cannot happen. Fx belongs to phi is not possible. Fx belongs to phi is not possible because phi is an empty set. So there is no such X whose image is inside phi. So this is the reason why F inverse of phi is phi. Hope it is clear to everyone. And why F inverse of T is T? Why F inverse of T is whole S, whole set S? Yes. See, if f is a mesh from S to T, so whatever x you will take here, its image will be in T or some subset of T. I mean, its range, you can say its range will be either T or subset of T. So again, whatever fx value will be there, it will be always a part of the T. It will always a member of T. So this is the reason why f inverse of T is whole set S. Whole set S. So remember that in all cases equality holds. Now using this, let me first come to this. So you can see that pre-images behaves very nicely in the sense that everywhere you are getting equality sign. So remember this. And now I am coming to the definition of open set, because this one is a requirement. So how to define continuity in terms of open set, and later on we will see that whatever you have studied in your +2, basically continuity is a very important topic, because under continuity we are going to study various things, and in topology continuity has a major role. All those topological properties, for that we require continuity. And I mean, in homomorphism again we will use the definition of continuity. Okay. So let me write the definition of continuity, because now you are able, now you understand what I mean by pre-image. So continuity in terms of open set. So definition is a function f from S to T between two topological spaces is continuous if the pre-image f inverse of Q of every open set is an open in S. Now let me explain it, what I mean to say. Suppose this set S is equipped with some topology script T, and this set T is equipped with some topology set T dash, script T dash. In short, we are writing f from S to T. So with respect to this, we know that every member of this topology script T dash is said to be open, and here on the set S, every member of this set, because every member of this set is basically collection of the from the power this topology. In earlier lectures I already discussed that this topology is from power set we are taking some collections, and that if this that satisfy the definition of the topology, we will say that scripted topology. And once it forms a topology, every member is said to be open set with respect to the topology present on S. And if it is a member of script T dash, then we will say that it is open with respect to T. I mean, whenever I say open with respect to T means open with respect to the topology present on the set T. इसको याद रख लो हमेशा. Short में हम इस तरह कहते हैं कि open with respect to T or open with respect to S. So open with respect to the set S means open with respect to the topology present on set S. So any function is said to be continuous if pre-image, if pre-image of every open set here is open here. Look, if the pre-image f inverse Q of every open set Q is a subset of T means Q is a member of script T dash. If inverse image of every open set is open in set S, then we will say that open set in S, then we will say that function is continuous. Function is continuous. So right now I am restricting to this one definition. Later on we will see that not only in case of open set, in case of closed set one can also define. So I will discuss all these cases one by one. But based on this, let us do some questions to understand this. So in some book you will find that they are calling function with the notation map. So here map means continuous function. How much time I have? Okay, 5 minutes. I think 7 minutes. Okay, let me explain it with the help of one example. So there is a very good example given in book of this Martin D. Crossley. Very basic, just to suppose let the set B consisting of two members have the discrete topology. Have the discrete topology and define f from set B to R. R is equal with standard topology, and set B is consisting of these two elements is equal with discrete topology. And the mapping is given by this one, mapping that f at 0 is -1 and f at 1 is 1. F at 1 is 1. Now I need to check whether this function f defined by this f of 0 equal to -1 and f of 1 is 1, whether this function is continuous. To check whether f is continuous or not. Whether f is continuous or not. ठीक है ना, ये क्वेश्चन है. So how to do it? देखो क्या दे रखा है. F function f is defined from 0 1 to real line R. Real line R. This R. This is your function. On 0 1, what is the topology? Discrete topology. So what are open set with respect to this 0 1? Tell me. Discrete topology में कौन से open sets होते हैं? Power set. So using power set, the topologies present here are singleton 0, I mean phi, singleton 0, singleton 1, and the set itself B. Let me write it as 0 1. These are the 4 open sets with respect to topology present on set B. Is it? है ना, डिस्क्रीट टोपोलॉजी ना, आपको पढ़ा चुका हूँ. डिस्क्रीट टोपोलॉजी क्या होता है? बेसिकली पावर सेट. पावर सेट में इसके क्या बनेंगे? These are the open set. This is the basically, I can say that the open set here on the set B, on the set B, and R is equal with standard topology. जब भी टोपोलॉजी न दे रखे स्टैंडर्ड टोपोलॉजी मान लेते हैं, otherwise they will specify. ठीक है ना. Now as per 0 is mapped to 1, 0 is mapped to -1, and 1 is mapped to 1. 1 1 पे मैप है, ये आपको मैप दे रखा है. Now to check whether this function is continuous or not, we know that what are the open set with respect to R, I mean in R with respect to standard topology. So all those open sets will be generated by the basis members of the type open interval AB. ठीक है, स्टैंडर्ड टोपोलॉजी के बेसिस मेंबर क्या होते थे? ओपन इंटरवल AB टाइप. So that and every other open set will be generated by that one. So whatever be open set, either that will contain, see whatever open set you will consider, whatever open set you will consider, either that will contain this -1 or 1 or both of them or none of them. So there are four possibilities. So what are the possibilities? So I can say that whatever open set we will choose here, whatever open set I will choose here in R with respect to the standard topology, f inverse of u will be basically, see, if your open set contains -1, if your open set contains -1, say -1 belongs to U and 1 is not in U. So obviously, as per definition, set theoretic inverse of, now recall, set theoretic inverse of U is collection of all those x from the domain, such that f of x belongs to the set U. This is your set theoretic inverse definition or pre-image definition. So here D is basically set B and B is basically 0 1. So what are the elements from 0 1 whose image is inside U? And U contains -1, U contains -1. So which element is mapping to -1? 0. So I can say that f inverse of U is singleton 0. Is it? देखो, ये आपको डेफिनेशन सामने रखो ना. आपकी आदत है वो we need to use here the set theoretic inverse. Set theoretic inverse word use करते terminology देते हैं, but this is basically pre-image of the set. And suppose your open set consists of say 1, then what will happen? Suppose your open set, let me write here, suppose your open set is in U, I mean open set contains U and 1 is not there. We need to look at all such cases. Open set may be the union of such intervals, but basis members are also open set. So once you know the property on basis set, basis members you can, and set theoretic inverse behave nicely, so you can, by taking union you can do everything. I will come to that later on, but so again by definition, if -1, so 1 is mapped to 1, 1 is mapped to 1 only, so you will get 1. Now suppose your open set contains both of them. Suppose your open set contains -1 as well as 1, as well as 1. Then what will happen? Then whole domain will be there, because 0 is mapped to 1, 0 is mapped to -1, 1 is mapped to 1. So the elements of domain, both 0 and 1 are there in F inverse U. So I can say that it will be equal to 0 and 1. Yes. And what if it contains none of them? तो बहुत आसान है, देखो ना, सिंपली डेफिनेशन यूज करना है. एंड 1 डज नॉट बिलोंग्स टू यू. अब मैंने आपको वर्ड बाय वर्ड करके दिखाया है. So if it contains none of them, so there is no element from the domain which maps to any element in U. So obviously its inverse image will be phi. Now look, as per definition, whatever open set we will choose here, whatever open set I will choose here, its inverse image should be open in U. I will open in B. I mean with respect to the discrete topology present on B. And with respect to discrete topology present on B, the only open sets are phi 0, 1 and 0, 1. So in all cases, whether your open set U here contains -1 or not, or contains both of them or contains none of them, we are getting these 4 sets. And these 4 sets are already open with respect to the discrete topology present on phi. So that definition, that every open set in T's here are, that must be open in S is B. So that is open. So clearly this function is continuous. This function is continuous. आया यहाँ तक समझ में आपको? This function is continuous. आपका मैं 5 मिनट और लूंगा ताकि ये टॉपिक कंप्लीट कर दूं, वरना फिर नेक्स्ट टाइम कंफ्यूजन होगा. और जिनके क्लास है वो लीव कर दें, मैं रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर अपलोड कर दूंगा. एक क्वेश्चन मैं और समझाऊं ताकि टॉपिक कंप्लीट हो जाए, वरना कल मुझे फिर से यहाँ से स्टार्ट करना होगा. ठीक है, तो हमेशा आप डेफिनेशन पहले लिख लिया करो, उसके बाद किया करो. चीजें आसान है, लेकिन प्योर मैथमेटिक्स में अगर आप डेफिनेशन मिस करोगे तो आपको फिर कोई नहीं समझा सकता. और पहले से मेंटलिटी मत बनाओ. क्वेश्चन और देख लीजिए. सोहल प्लीज. Okay, what will happen if I define map like this? Let next example, next question. In fact, you can say next question. Let B is equal to, again 0, 1, equal with the discrete topology, and let T is equal to 0, 1 with indiscrete topology. I have changed the topology here, and you can see that the same function which is continuous with respect to, by changing topology, a function may not be continuous. Equal to 0 with indiscrete topology. Now define function g from B to T by g of 0 equal to 0 and g of 1 is equal to 1. So this is your map, and you need to tell whether this map is continuous or not. So is G a continuous? दिस इज द क्वेश्चन। क्या है देखो, बी पे डिस्क्रीट टोपोलॉजी तो क्या होंगे इसके ओपन सेट 0 सिंगलेटन 0 सिंगलेटन 1, जस्ट राइट ओपन सेट हियर 5 and the whole set 0 1, and on T I have indiscrete topology. So in discrete topology the only open sets are
phi और 0.
phi and the full space T. Very good. Phi and the full space T, I mean 0 1. Now can you tell, see just right now even you can prove using this method what I have shown, but you can see that phi, G inverse of phi, just I proved that inverse image of phi is always phi. Whatever set theoretic inverse image phi is always phi, and set theoretic inverse of whole set T is the set B, is it? अभी प्रूफ किया था ना यहाँ पे। अगर आप इस रिजल्ट को प्रूफ देखो यहाँ पे, एक मिनट कहाँ चला गया पेज, मैंने हटा दिया। 4 रिजल्ट जो प्रूफ किए थे, चलो हटा दिए, कोई बात नहीं। अभी आप प्रूफ किया था ना कि if phi का इनवर्स इमेज phi होगा और t का ऑलवेज क्या होता है b, so there are only 2 open set phi, so phi का इनवर्स इमेज phi is already open here with respect to discrete topology on 0 1 domain पे discrete topology, phi का इनवर्स इमेज phi is open here, and here the only other open set is 0 1, that is t, and its inverse image is b which is already open here, so clearly this map is continuous। आगे समझे से 2 ही ओपन सेट थे ना, और हर एक का ओपन इनवर्स इमेज हमने क्या दिखा दिया, ओपन। सो बाय डेफिनेशन यस, आंसर इज यस। और या तो आप इस तरह भी कर सकते हो, आप चाहो तो इस तरह ट्राई कर लो। सो वी हैव सीन दैट if your codomain is equipped with indiscrete topology, then the only open sets are phi and t itself. So whatever topology is present on the domain, it will not matter. G is always going to be continuous, because by set theoretic inverse image of phi is always phi, and set theoretic inverse of this T is whole B. So that, and phi and the whole set B are present in every topological space. So this is the reason why if your codomain is equipped with indiscrete topology, then every map is continuous. Now what will happen if you change this? I will summarize all those results. Just let us take another example. Say H is a map from T to B, where T is the closed interval 0 1 and B is the again closed interval 0 1. The only difference is that B is equipped with the discrete topology and T is equipped with indiscrete topology. If I reverse domain and codomain, and let us define function H of 0 is equal to 0 and H of 1 is equal to 1. Now what you can you say about H? Is H continuous?
continuous नहीं होगा।
क्यों नहीं होगा? If it is not continuous, then there must exist at least one open set here whose inverse image is not open here.
Yes.
ठीक है, तो सबसे पहले B पे क्या था, डिस्क्रीट ना। B पे कौन सी टोपोलॉजी है, डिस्क्रीट टोपोलॉजी, और T पे क्या लिया था, इनडिस्क्रीट। तो पहले आप लिख लिया करो। अब B डिस्क्रीट है तो डिस्क्रीट के एलिमेंट लिख लो, phi 0 1 phi 0 1 and whole 0 1, and here I have phi and the full space T, that is 0 1. Now inverse image of phi is phi by definition of set theoretic inverse image of 0 1 is T, that is open. What is inverse image of 0? Can you tell me H inverse of 0? By definition H inverse of 0 is all those elements 0 belonging to T such that H of 0, such that f of H of 0, all those elements belonging to T such that H of X belongs to singleton 0. ये आपका रिक्वायरमेंट है, H इनवर्स 0। तो कौन सा एलिमेंट T का कौन सा एलिमेंट है जो 0 को 0 पे ले जा रहा है? 0 को 0 पे कौन ले जा रहा है? 0 को 0 पे। So there is only one element which carries 0 to 0, that is 0 itself, which is carried from 0 to 0. So this is basically singleton 0. So H inverse of 0 is 0. यहाँ का ये ओपन सेट है ना, अंडर डिस्क्रीट टोपोलॉजी दिस सिंगलेटन 0 इज ओपन, बट सी इट्स इनवर्स इमेज इज नॉट ओपन हियर। यहाँ तो ओपन सिर्फ 2 ही सेट है ना, phi and T. Only open sets are phi and T itself. Singleton 0 is not open. So thus to reject that a function is not continuous, you need to show that there exists at least one open set whose inverse image is not open here. That is enough. Okay, so you can see that singleton, so let me write here that singleton 0 is open, is an open set In B, open set in B means with respect to the discrete topology present on B, but its inverse image, but H inverse of 0, which is singleton 0, is not an open set in T. तो देखो आज के लेक्चर में जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट था वो आप मैंने क्या डिस्कस किया, बेसिकली जो सेट थ्योरेटिक इनवर्स और जो इन्वर्टिबल फंक्शन के डेफिनेशन नोटेशन एक यूज करते हैं, लेकिन वो ये नोटेशन ये नहीं कि जी का हम इनवर्स निकाल रहे हैं फंक्शन का, बेसिकली दिस स्टैंड फॉर इनवर्स प्री इमेज, और यू कैन से सेट थ्योरेटिक इनवर्स, एक सेट का हम इनवर्स निकाल रहे हैं. सो इट कैन बी अ सिंगलेटन, इट कैन बी एम्प्टी, बट इन केस ऑफ फाई एंड फुल स्पेस इट इज ऑलवेज जी इनवर्स ऑफ फाई इज फाई एंड जी इनवर्स ऑफ टी इज बी. ठीक है, आपकी अगली क्लास है तो मैं आज यहीं पे रहने देता हूँ और आप लोग इसे रिवाइज कर लें. नाउ आई विल मूव टू कंटिन्यूटी. अब प्रॉब्लम ये होगी ना, कंटिन्यूटी को आप ओपन सेट, अब जैसे यहाँ तो चलो फाइनाइट नंबर ऑफ ओपन सेट है, आपने आसानी से देख लिया इनवर्स इमेज ओपन सेट का ओपन होता है, यू कैन इजीली चेक वेदर इट इज ओपन और नॉट. बट इफ योर टोपोलॉजी कंसिस्ट ऑफ infinite members, say countable or uncountable, whatever, then in that this technique is very tough. But we know that every open set is generated by arbitrary union of basis member. So we will try to reduce the number of open set. I mean, we will do it by for basis member, because every open set is going to be generated for basis member. So we will reduce the definition to basis member using this set theoretic inverse image, because that is behaving nicely. We will get equality sign. So that I will discuss in next class, that why we are doing this one. ठीक है, मैं यही पेंट करता हूँ. आप लोग आज का लेक्चर रिवाइज कर लेंगे, क्योंकि बहुत बेसिक मैंने चीज़ पढ़ाई, ये सब पढ़ाने ये एज अ होम असाइनमेंट देने लायक है, लेकिन मुझे लगता है मैंने कई बैचेस पढ़ाया तो मुझे लगा कि अक्सर एक कन्फ्यूजन रहता है, तो इस वजह से मैंने इसको फोकस कर दिया. ठीक है, थैंक्स.